Before the break, we were discussing the process in which this measure, this emergency measure, is enacted. So it's announced. There's a period where the prime minister can take immediate action, but then it does have to go through some sort of democratic process, goes through the parliament. And you were mentioning that they have to introduce something in the House, correct?
They have to introduce an identical resolution in both houses, in which it's a government motion. The government is asking each house, quote unquote, to confirm the decision of the government to proclaim an emergency. And it must be delivered within 7 days. The cabinet only has up to 7 days, and they have to get that tabled in Parliament.
So let's discuss the politics of that with this last go. I called Infamous Friday because there was a lot of, I don't know, un-Canadian things that we all witnessed in the news, live camera footage of people being arrested, police in very heavy, almost militia-style gear, cops with guns in the street that we just are not accustomed to here in Canada. That Friday, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau decided to raise or lift the House or suspend the House from sitting. And was that, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the day that that motion had to be introduced. Was that the deadline?
No, actually, the motion had been introduced and debated on the Thursday. The Speaker, acting on his own, suspended. I actually think the Speaker, with due respect, violated the statute. The statute says the resolution must be taken up by Parliament and uninterrupted. There must be uninterrupted debate until the House decides the issue. Now, if the House can do whatever it wants, when I read it, I thought maybe the House passed a motion, to adjourn. But I understand the Speaker just ordered it. With respect to Mr. Speaker, I think he violated the statute.
Wow. Okay, that clarifies some things, because I was wondering, were all these opposition party in cahoots with Justin Trudeau or cooperating to suspend Parliament for that day? Anyhow, so then what happened on the Monday?
Well, that was the Friday. Well, then they came back and they debated it some more. I think they resumed debate. But then, as we know, I think it was debated the Monday and then the Tuesday. And of course, you had the spectacle of the Minister of Security, whatever title he has, Mr. Bill Blair, announcing that, this crisis has just begun. This is going to go on for a long time. There's foreign intervention. Well, that was on the Tuesday. On the Wednesday, the Prime Minister came on and announced that they had revoked it. Now, either Mr. Blair didn't get the memo, or I have to be careful what I say here, he was certainly dissimulating. How could the situation totally change in 24 hours? And
because
I think I know why.
I was prepared for about a month long of an Emergency Measures Act based on what the Prime Minister was insinuating in his pressers. And then all of a sudden on Wednesday it was lifted. Are you able to speculate, or should I be the one speculating as to what I think will happen there?
Well, I can give you a speculation. I think there was a danger that it was not going to pass the Senate. That a lot of so-called Trudeau-appointed ISG senators, who usually are kind of spokesmen for Trudeau, and I want to make reference particularly to a speech by a very eminent senator, Senator Delphont. He's from Quebec, Trudeau appointment, very much a Trudeau supporter in the House, ICG member, former Superior Court Justice. He came out and said that he was going to vote against the confirmation, although he reserved. But his main concern was, and so I think we should really be talking about, is the frightening economic financial provisions which allowed people's bank accounts to be frozen. He came right down, he's a distinguished former justice, and he said, this is totally unconstitutional. It violates Section 8 of the Charter, which is called unreasonable search and seizure. He said, the idea that a bureaucrat could just order a banker to freeze your bank account, no notice to you, no notice after, and there's no obligation of the bank or the government to even give you reasons or even confirm your bank account is frozen.
Right.
And he said basically, no, there should have been judicial warrants. The act or the proclamation should have required that before you could do that, the government has to go before a Superior Court Justice and get a warrant, right? That there's some basis for this person being connected with the blockade, right?
Will all those accounts be reinstated, or is that ship sailed?
Well, first of all, I just got to say, it was an outrageous overextension of state authority, just absolutely outrageous, unjustified. I understand from reports the government, defeats the government's position, that in fact they've rescinded, they've undone all those cancellations.
Okay. We're going to have you back on, Mike. We're out of time, unfortunately, but this is a very exciting topic we have to stay on. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you, Tanya. Glad to be on the show.
We'll be right back.